I've got a new product in the shop, the WeCreat Lumos Flex. And if you've been watching my channel, you know I've already done a video on the WeCreat Lumos. This is the Flex. It's its big brother. This machine is a little bit different though because it has a 15-watt diode laser and a 15-watt Q switch fiber. So you're going to be able to do a lot more with this. I truly believe this is going to be the ultimate craft show laser where you're making things live for your customers, or even in a shop environment where you have customers coming in and saying, oh, I'd like this keychain with my name on it. Bam, you get it done in just a few seconds. So I'm not going to delay the video today. We're going to jump right into it, and I'm going to show you some of the things that I've done on it in comparison to the regular Lumos. So let's get started right away. All right, so the first thing that I noticed right off the bat is that on the right side, you've got the Lumos, and on the left side, you've got the Lumos Flex. And the Flex is deeper. It's the same size in general, except it's taller inside the machine by about 1.75 inches or so. I'm told, and don't tell anybody this, by the way, that you will in the future be able to order the upgraded module all by itself. Now, while the Flex looks almost exactly like the Lumos, you can see that it's almost exactly the same. The only difference really is the module itself. Now, I do have the most beta software that there is for this, and I can tell you that I don't have my settings dialed in. This is my very first project, and this is a piece of slate where I took a photograph and inverted it, and yeah, it didn't come out really great. So don't worry though, I get better as we go with the settings. So with this new beta software that I've got, it just doesn't have any preset settings, but the retail version is going to come with some presets. So yeah, this one didn't come out really great, and it was a learning experience for me. So I figured out how it came out, what it looks like, and what it should look like, and it shouldn't look like this. So I threw on another piece of slate. Actually, I just flipped it over so I don't waste my slate, and I'll sand these down later. And I started a different design with different settings on this side, and I thought I had it probably dialed in, but I still didn't get it quite right. So keep in mind that I am using the beta software here, and even though it wasn't quite right, it wasn't all that bad either. So it came out halfway decent. I don't know, what do you guys think? I think that looks pretty good, and that's with no finish or anything else. So I finally ran a last test on slate, and I got this, and this is a much better white. If you look at them side by side, the one on the right is sort of a gray, and the one on the left is a right. And okay, we're finished with slate now. Time to move on. Now, one of my favorite things to do with a laser is black business cards, or really any color business card. So on the left of this card, we're going to do a comparison. I'm doing it with the diode, and then on the right side, we're going to do it with the fiber so that you guys can get a good idea of the difference with, and I particularly like Q switch fibers for doing business cards because I'm usually able to get between 3 and 4 different colors with it. And I haven't run a material test just yet, so the only thing we're going to get right now is the white, because that's the only one that I've sort of got dialed in. And there you can clearly see the difference between a diode on the business card and a Q switch fiber on the business card. And I am going to run my material test so that I can find out what other colors I can get with this laser. And now, being that I've got my settings dialed in, I'm going to do a quality anodized dog tag. And actually, this is going to be a snake tag. But you'll see in a moment. I'm leaving this in real time so that you can get an idea of how quickly this runs. So the design was very simple. I just brought in an SVG file of a snake, and I put two text files, one on each side of it. The camera is so good on this machine that it lines it up perfectly. And this is being run on the fiber right now, and the job is just about done. And you'll see just how nice this comes out in just a moment. Here we go. And there it is, up close. What a wonderful job it did on this dog tag. Now, I didn't put any fancy fonts or anything, but you get the idea. Now, next up, I decided to switch to cork, which is one of my favorites, probably one of everyone's favorites, because it comes out just so beautiful. This is on the diode laser, and I'm running this one at 800 millimeters per second. This is one of the few settings that I actually do remember. I do have most of the settings written down, but you'll see here in just a moment, I'll speed up toward the end, just how beautifully this comes out. And this really is one of my favorite projects to do, because it's probably one of the last commission jobs that I have, and I do about 300 of these every month for a local bar, and they come out just awesome. Okay, next we're going to jump into some stainless steel, and actually this is chrome. It's not actually stainless steel, it's chrome plated stainless steel. And I do have a stainless piece that I did after it. I'm going to show you the side by side when this one is done. I'm going to also leave this in live time so that you can get an idea. This is a 1¼ inch tall stainless steel plated in chrome medallion. And I am using the fiber on this one, and I am running this one at 3000 millimeters per second, and I believe this was 90% power to get these three different images on here. And this gave me, I did this one first before the actual stainless, because I could get a decent idea with the chrome what it's going to do on stainless, and I actually got a really nice color on the side-by-side with the stainless and the chrome next to each other. But I wanted to run this one in real time so that you get an idea of how long this actually takes. So if you're at a craft show, you know, you get an idea of how long it takes. And there you can see it's finished. It is, I haven't polished it or anything yet. With a little bit of polish, this is going to come out looking absolutely awesome. All right, and finally, what would any laser video be without doing something on wood? So I brought in a graphic and started the job on wood. And this one, I haven't done any material tests yet. So I was sort of in a rush to get this video out because I already know what the Lumos can do. And I ran a very low DPI on this. I think the DPI was 225, and the line density was low as well, 150. So I'm not going to get any depth or any real color out of it, but this is the 15-watt diode. It's going to perform like any other 15-watt diode, so it's going to be able to engrave, and it's going to be able to cut like any other 15-watt diode. And probably one of the benefits of using the Galvo style when you're engraving on wood and as well as cutting is that you're not going to get any smoke residue. So you're not going to see any overburning or anything like that with the Galvo. You're going to get a nice clean engraving, and even though this one was my first project on wood, you know, once I do a material test on this and dial in my settings, it's going to come out looking like any other diode. This one was done at 800 millimeters per second and 40% power. And there you go. So if you're interested in picking up this inexpensive machine and having both the fiber and the diode laser combo, where just a click of a button switches between one and the other, I'll put links down in the description to WeCreat. They are affiliate links and they do help to support the channel. Plus, they don't cost you a penny more. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to learn more, click on the description down below and follow that link over to the WeCreat website. And I'll also put a link down there to my original video on the WeCreat Lumos. Actually, I'll put it right here. And I'm also going to have a link down below to my friend John's website, Tripod Garage. He did the same review on this a couple of days ago. So you might want to check out his review if you want to get more information. He dives into settings and things like that, whereas I just basically did an overview on it. So check that description, follow the link over to John's website. And as always, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.